History never truly disappears. Sometimes it waits for someone willing to listen. Every forgotten place leaves behind a question. This is one of them. How could an entire village vanish in a single night? Not in legend, not in myth, but in recorded history. The answer lies hidden high above the mountains of Central Java. This is the true story of Legetang. High above the misty mountains of Central Java, there was once a quiet village called Legetang. A place surrounded by fertile fields, towering forests, and the silent presence of Mount Pengamun-amun. Life here followed the rhythm of nature. Farmers walked the narrow paths before sunrise. Children laughed beneath the shade of old trees. Families gathered as evening settled over the valley. Nothing seemed unusual. No one imagined that within a single night, their village would disappear forever. This morning arrived quietly in Legetang, as it always had. The mountain breeze carried the scent of wet earth, fresh grass, and wood smoke rising from family kitchens. Children laughed along narrow village paths. Farmers prepared their tools before walking toward the fields. Women gathered water while neighbors exchanged their first greetings of the day. To anyone passing through, Legetang looked like every other peaceful mountain village. No fear, no panic, no sign that history was quietly approaching. Yet,
lihat ini.
The mountain had already begun to change.
Retakannya semakin besar. Iya, sudah sampai ke jalan ini.
Nearly 70 days earlier, a long crack had appeared high on the slope of Mount Pengamun-amun. Those who searched for firewood or gathered grass had seen it. They talked about it. They wondered about it. Then, they returned to their daily lives. No one imagined that the mountain was already writing its final warning. The crack remained. Day after day, the mountain stood in silence. Life in Legetang continued as though nothing had changed. Yet, the forest was changing. The birds that once filled the morning air grew strangely quiet. The boy began noticing something unusual. Monkeys were leaving the upper forest. Not one or two, but many. They wandered closer to the village than anyone could remember. Some villagers found it strange. Others simply smiled and carried on. No one knew the mountain had already begun speaking through its silence. The crack did not disappear. With each passing week, the mountain seemed to change a little more. Word spread quietly through Legetang. Some believed the hillside might eventually collapse. So the villagers did what generations had always done. They worked together. Men arrived with hoes, wooden shovels, and simple tools. Not to flee, but to protect their homes. They began digging a long ditch across the slope. They believed if the mountain ever gave way, the earth would follow that channel away from the village. It was not an act of fear. It was an act of hope. No one realized the danger would come in a way no one had ever imagined. Evening settled gently over Legetang. The rain returned. Softly at first, then steadily. Inside their homes, families gathered beneath the warm glow of oil lamps. Children grew sleepy. Conversations became quieter. Outside, the rain continued without mercy. Water flowed down the slopes of Mount Pengamun-amun. The villagers had done everything they believed was necessary. The ditch had been completed. Life would continue. Tomorrow would be another day. But high above, beyond the darkness, the mountain was carrying a burden no human eyes could see. Just before 11 o'clock, on the night, the earth shook. For hours, the rain had fallen without pause. Legetang was asleep. No voices, no footsteps, only the sound of rain. Then something changed. A sound too deep to be thunder, too heavy to be wind. High above, Mount Pengamun-amun could no longer hold its weight. At 11 o'clock on the night of April 16th, 1955, the mountainside gave way. But what happened next was unlike an ordinary landslide. Between the mountain and Legetang lay a river and a deep ravine. Both remain there, even today. Yet somehow, the massive mass of Earth crossed them. It struck the village itself. Within only minutes, homes, families, and generations were buried beneath millions of tons of earth. When the rain finally eased, Legetang no longer existed. News of the disaster spread slowly through the surrounding villages, but no one dared to approach. The ground was still moving. The mountain had not yet come to rest. With only simple tools and very limited resources, there was little they could do. The search was brief. Only a small area, believed to be the home of the village leader, could be reached. For most families, there would be no rescue, no farewell, no grave. Even today, most of Legetang's victims are believed to remain beneath the earth. The river and the ravine still remain between Legetang and Mount Pengamun-amun, silent witnesses to one of Indonesia's most extraordinary landslide disasters. Legetang did not disappear because people ignored nature. They noticed. They worried. They prepared. They hoped. But sometimes, nature moves beyond human understanding. History never truly disappears. It lives in places that refuse to be forgotten. This was the true story of Legetang. Villages can disappear. Memories should not.